Bylaw this morning.
Okay.
Right, morning everyone. Welcome committee members and welcome to members of our community. Can I please ask that everyone in the room ensures that your devices or cell phones are either switched off or are silent mode whilst this meeting is in progress today. If a cell phone interrupts the course of the meeting, we will stop and wait while the device is muted. This meeting is being held in the supper room of the Waihina Centre, Martinborough Town Hall. It is being live streamed and will be available to view on Council's YouTube channel. The emergency exits for this room are the door that you came in and the exit behind me. If we do need to evacuate the building, please use one of these exits and assemble outside by the playground, which is at the end of the building that way. Please remain at the assembly area until the building has been confirmed clear. In the event we experience any unruly or intimidating behaviour from members of the community during the course of this hearing, we will adjourn until it is safe for us to reconvene. Members of the committee and staff will congregate in the office area if this action is necessary. Now, we've set things up slightly different this morning. The front row of seats in the community space is for those who are speaking in each block of the hearings. So if you're speaking in this hour, please feel free to sit here. But once you've spoken, if you could move further back if you're wishing to stay, which of course you're welcome to do. Ask you all to stand and join me in the opening of please. Yeah, what are
Kia whakapapa whaina me se moana. Kei huarahi ma tātou I te rangi nei. Aroha atu aroha mai. So kia tātou katoa.
in English, it means may peace be widespread, may the sea be like brimstone. Partly for us all this day. Give love, receive love, let us show respect for each other and bind us all together. We just have one apology for lateness this morning. I'm doing from the mayor. He should be here any time. Do I? Oh, and Violet. She's an apology. Okay, and committee member Violet as well. We have a member to move those, please. Thank you, Councillor Elams. And a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Woodcock. All those in favour, please say aye. All those against, no. The motion is carried. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare this morning? Thank you, Councillor.
Yeah, as has been my thing over the last 6 years, because it's the bylaw and it has an enforcement clause in the bylaw. As a judicial justice of the peace, I can't be involved in the determination of whether that goes through as a law or not, because it may end up in the judicial system. So I will not be participating in the discussions or deliberations on it.
Okay, so you'll
So I'm not going to be involved in it. So
okay, that's noted. We will now move on to the submission hearings as per the schedule. We do have a large number of hearings submissions to be heard today, so it will be important that we keep to the allotted timeframes and moving to ensure that everyone has the need to be heard today. With that in mind, I remind elected members of the following. Hearings are a formal process and I ask that you all approach the hearings with an open mind and that you take into account all written and oral submissions when it comes time for deliberations. You are here to listen to submitters and can ask questions to clarify or ask submitters to elaborate on particular points in their submission. These hearings are not an opportunity for elected members to comment on submissions, engage in debate with submitters, or offer solutions or indicate your support or otherwise on any submission. Right, now on to the hearings. The first I have is Leighton Hale. Leighton, are you with us? Fantastic. Come and join us at the table. Leighton's submission is the online packet number 1, page 1 for speakers. clause number 1.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll just run through a few bits of information later and then it'll be over to you to make a start. We allocate 5 minutes to each presenter to present. It is recommended that your presentation take place during the first 3 or 4 minutes and that you allow 1 to 2 minutes for questions from councillors. Your allocated time includes both your presentation time and questions from councillors. And Amy here will give you a wee wave when you get to about minute 4, so you know that your time's coming to the end. Later.
As you already know, my name is Leighton Hale. I'm in support of the bylaw for closing the road. As far as myself and my family are concerned, it's an open and shut case of abuse, disrespect, and trespass, willful trespass, our ancestral tribal land. Now, for years now, my family and I have been, we like to call it being on patrol, making sure there's no campers on our land trespassing and things like that. Now, we've been subject to a lot of verbal abuse, a lot of threatening us with violence and things like that because of our. We like to educate people on who owns the land and the right path with paper road is. But we do get a lot of abuse. Now, I requested one of these for myself and the councillors to have a look at as I'm speaking, but it's sort of like isn't what I sort of expected. I was sort of wanted a bit more detail, but since this is all that we got, the designated paper road goes through inaccessible swamplands. The road has fallen into the sea, so that road actually leads nowhere. Hence why people deviate off that road onto our land and trespass. Now that road used to be just a farm track for owners to use. It has now become a main highway where there's been a lot of abuse, wheelies, people on 4-wheel drives, motorbikes, you name it. It's just disrespectful to our tribal land. Divers want access onto our land to go diving because it's so remote there. The powers have been stripped. You know, the coastlines have been stripped. So it's pretty hard to find powers there anymore. You can't sort of define who's the divers and who the power poachers are. Over the years, we've found thousands of shells stuffed behind rocks, trees, under bushes, on the beach, where power poachers have been doing their business because it's so remote. So I would like to stop that. When humans, when there's no human activity, Mother Nature seems to take over. So yeah, that's what we're looking forward to. Hunters, they want access onto our land. Access hunting up the back. Over the years, we've had rustlers, cattle rustlers right up into recently last year, where there's just strip the meat off that they want and just leave the carcass to rot. You can't define who a hunter is and who is that 3 minutes already.
4 minutes.
Really? No. Okay. So I guess So leave it at that. Are there any questions? There's a lot more that I'd like to say, but
Any questions
far?
from the councillors? Councillor Maynard and then Councillor McCauley.
Kia ora, Nathan. Can you, so your whānau lives there? Does your whānau live there?
not full time.
Not full time.
We're out there quite often. As often as we can. But there's nobody who actually lives out there permanently, no.
And so you're having to go out and, I guess, educate and trying to speak to people when you can, but not,
Yes.
there's not any kind of physical.
No. We under the lighthouse, there are 2 houses that we use as holiday homes for ourselves, for different families who go out there, especially over the holidays, public holidays. There are people out there.
Thank you very much for your time today, Leighton. Both your written submission and your verbal submission today will be taken into account as we move forward to deliberations. As I said before, you are welcome to stay and hear other submitters. But that is, no, sorry, that's time this morning.
Okay, thank you.
The next presenter is Alan Blythe, and Alan is on Teams. Now, sorry, can I ask the other online presenters, can you please make sure your microphones are off and your cameras are off until it's your time to speak? That's very much. Right, Alan, you have quite well, obviously. Alan, sorry, I have to look away from you to speak into the microphone, so I'm not being disrespectful to you intentionally by showing you my back. So you have 5 minutes to speak to us this morning,
Yep.
and your time starts when you're ready.
Okay, thanks. Right, very quickly, because we've not got much time. I'm a 7th generation Kiwi. 4 generations of my family have been going to Palliser, to the lighthouse and camping beyond. My grandfather assisted other like-minded Kiwis to hand form the track, which is on the unformed legal road. We for years camped out there with permission of the local Māori, and we actually paid a fee to camp on the edges of the legal road, where it turns into a proper 4-wheel drive camp. For probably 20 years we camped there with permission and paid a fee to camp there. That's by way of background. There is a proper legal process for the council to close an unformed legal road, as other submitters who have clearly outlined in their submissions, which I have read. South Wairarapa District Council have been complacent regarding the illegally blocked access to the unformed legal road at the White Rock end, taking no action for many, many years until just recently. Coincidentally, after this process had started, that you took action against that landowner to unlock the gate. Why now? I question. Why has that happened now? Why have you taken action now? It's because you're wanting to restrict access at the southern end of the unformed legal road. Once closed, that road will never reopen. And what action will the council take if it does remain locked against any potential bylaw? If it's taken you 10 to 20 years to sort out the northern end access, what's the council going to do if the southern end access goes against your bylaw? I've already read online plenty of comments from local landowners saying regardless of what way this goes, they're locking the gate. They don't care. We've also seen in press that the local landowners are now talking about Waitangi Tribunal and Waitangi claims. To me, that just signifies that ultimately it's about control of the land and all of the land. They're talking about potential tourism out there. You're not going to get tourism when the public have free access to the unformed legal road. And let's not call it a paper road, it's an unformed legal road. Most unformed legal roads in New Zealand are 20 metres wide. Why has there been no collaborative approach by council up till now in regards to signage the first cab off the rank that you've chosen is to lock the area up. At other popular sites for recreation, including tramping, hunting, four-wheel driving, mountain biking, walking, everything, there are signs that clearly define the boundaries, that there is private property, where people are allowed to go and where they're not allowed to go. Until recently, the only sign that's been at Palliser is the one that's been there I've been going there, I'm nearly 60 years old, I've been going there my whole life. The only sign that's been there is the one on the gate that says no camping until recently. Why has the council not put a big sign up there with little maps that you can take showing you where you can and can't go? The no signage past that gate. Why have we not gone and put some little marker pegs every 50 metres or so to define the boundaries of the paper road to keep people within the boundaries of the paper road? I've heard other submitters say the road goes nowhere. It doesn't. It goes to a dock campground, a dock site, which is used often by a lot of people, myself included. Council have said there's alternative ways to get in there. There is not. I'd love to see anyone sitting in this room walk out to that dock campsite with their 3 or 4 children and all their equipment to stay for 2 weeks. There is no other access in there other than that road. What needs to happen? You need to have a situation where all stakeholders get to the table, come up with solutions. There are four-wheel drive clubs that do great work at Red Rocks and in the Akatarawa forest. They go and replant areas, they clean up, they help. What needs to happen? No bylaw. We just need to have some signage, some education. Everyone gets together and sorts it out, and it will be resolved, in a timely manner, and everyone will be happy. And Kiwis get to continue enjoying the great outdoors that they've enjoyed, myself, for 4 generations. And I'd like to know, have any of the councillors or the committee members actually been out there all the way to the dock campground past Stonewall? Because if you haven't, you should have been, because you need the insight of having been there across the land to see what everyone's talking about. And that is my 5 minutes, I believe.
That is perfectly timed 5 minutes. Thank you, Alan. There won't be any time for questions. And just to be clear, both for yourself and for anyone else submitting today, unfortunately, this isn't a forum where we can answer your questions in the moment, but your questions have certainly given us food for thought as we move forward and into the deliberation phase as well. So thank you for your time this morning. Alan, you're welcome to stay online and continue listening, but we will move now to the next submit.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacob Bassett. Jacob, are you in the room? Jacob's not with us. We'll move on. I got David Garrett here this morning. Stevie Whitten. Oh, we're 3 for 3. It's unfortunate. Ian Cardno. Fantastic. Please come and join us, Ian. Ian's written submission is online ticket number 5, page 1638, or speakers pack start number 7. Right, as per our previous submissions, please take your paper submission as read, and your 5 minutes starts when you are ready.
Good morning. I strongly oppose the South Waikato District Council creating and implementing a bylaw to close access to the paper road. This is a unique coastal area. Paper road and the coastal area belong to all New Zealanders. It's been a vital part of our heritage, used since early settlement by Māori, settlers, farmers and the public. The council is responding to an issue raised by local Māori iwi about ongoing damage to private land and the paper road. While the damage to private land is unacceptable, the paper road's maintenance falls under the council's responsibility as part of roading infrastructure. It appears to me that the council is quietly attempting to restrict public access to the coastline. Their outreach has been minimal, consisting of a 1-hour session with the community at Ngāwhi and a letter sent to nearby residents. There seems to be confusion within the council. They have misrepresented the public road access rights. They acknowledge that the paper road is a legal road. They have previously stated their intention to secure enjoyment of the coastline by walkers and cyclists to protect land from vandalism and cultural areas. They recognise the importance of the paper road as an emergency route in case the main road is blocked from slips and adverse weather. They have suggested fencing and planting the paper road as protective measures. Despite this, the council is now attempting to implement a bylaw to close the paper road at the Cape Palliser end, which would be illegal. There have been internal acknowledgements that the locked gate at the White Rock Road end is not lawful, and the council CEO has stated that the gate shouldn't be locked. So why is the council now trying to implement a bylaw closing the paper road at Cape Palliser end? There are so many questions that need to be answered. These include: why change viewpoints from securing the coastline, enjoyment by walkers and cyclists, to full closure? What does the council consider to be the emergency route in case the road is not accessible? Why has the public been excluded from council sessions to advance implementation of the bylaw? Why has the council not consulted fairly, transparently and fully with all stakeholders? And has the council advanced the request for closure by Hapu over all other submissions from stakeholders? It is a gross overreach to restrict all public access to the paper road to address damage concerns to private land in the paper road. The council has long abandoned its responsibility to build resilience into roading, infrastructure and education for this paper road. Nowhere has the council stepped up to take responsible action to manage damage to the paper road or private land caused by users of the paper road. The situation before us is should not be a bylaw closing the paper road. What is required is a multi-pronged approach that provides positive outcomes for all the community and New Zealanders. Let us work together to develop solutions to protect the private land, enhance the paper road and coastal access in the community.
Perfect. Please fill in the next, which allows time for questions for Ian. Do we have any questions for Ian from councillors this morning? So,
I'd quite like if you could just elaborate a little bit on your multi-pronged approach.
I think there's numerous stakeholders and stakeholder groups that should be engaged fully to hear views and possible ways to manage any damage and the public, the paper road.
Yeah. Thanks.
fantastic. Thank you, Ian. I think that's all the questions for you this morning. So as before, you're welcome to stay and listen to the rest of the submittals. And thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm just going to circle back. I see that people are continuing to arrive. So I'm just wondering, do I have Jacob Bassett or David Garrett in the room, or Stevie Witten? No. Thank you. Matthew Bismarck, I believe, is online. Yes. Matt, are you with us? Would you like to turn on your camera and your microphone, please? Matt's submission is online packet number 5, page 1663, or speakers pack number 9. Good morning, Matt.
Kia ora, councillors and other members of the public submitting on this.
Your 5 minutes starts when you're ready.
Thank you. I strongly oppose the proposed unformed legal road access bylaw. That bylaw will remove long-standing public access to Cape Ellis's unformed legal road. Those are rights that have benefited hunters and trampers in the wider community for generations, some of whom you've already heard from today. Responsible public access supports many key outcomes, including fundamentally what it means to be a Kiwi. As someone who's lived overseas for 15 years, I think Kiwis don't fully appreciate how special access to the outdoors and all that it offers is spiritually, culturally, and in any other way that you want to describe it. This unformed legal road provides access to a special part of New Zealand and public land beyond. As others have submitted, this is the only access to that public land. Walking there over the mountains is completely impracticable for anyone other than the most seriously fit hunters and mountaineers. Legally, this bylaw is on shaky ground. Public roads are public roads, and closing them without the proper road stopping process is unlawful. The Land Transport Act allows council to restrict vehicles, but not to ban all public access. Only the formal road stopping process can legally extinguish these rights, and council seeking to bypass those. Secondly, this bylaw is disproportionate and unnecessary. Most harm comes from a small minority, not responsible users. Existing laws address environmental damage and cultural site protection, and a targeted vehicle ban, not a blanket closure, is a balanced solution that does not appear to have been considered by council. Your consultation has been unbalanced. The bylaw is opposed by all major public access groups that I've been able to see in the submitters, many of whom have significant resources to challenge this ultra vires bylaw. Critically, this bylaw exposes South Wairarapa District Council ratepayers to substantial financial risk. I think a legal challenge is highly likely, and you should consider that risk. The cost of that will fall on your local ratepayers. This bylaw sets a very dangerous legal precedent for public access across the entirety of New Zealand and is likely to be strongly opposed by organisations that represent public access rights across the entirety of New Zealand. There are better alternatives to this bylaw. I submit that you should withdraw the bylaw, work with recreational groups to create a fairer access plan, limit vehicles if needed, but retain pedestrian and cyclist access for responsible use. If the closure is still intended, council should follow the proper statutory process that's set out for exactly that purpose, and avoid unnecessarily burdening ratepayers with the costs of a legal challenge by using a bylaw for something that it is not intended to do and goes beyond the powers that you have under that law, in my view. In summary, this bylaw overreaches, it risks legal challenge and significant financial burden to ratepayers. Let's protect the environment, let's respect mana whenua, but let's do so lawfully, fairly, and in a way that maintains access for responsible use. This solution doesn't do those things. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. We have a minute and a half for questions, if anyone has any. No, I think you were very clear in your position and in your proposal for alternate moving forward. So you've left us with no questions this morning. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you for the opportunity to present.
Thank you for being here. You're welcome to remain online if you wish and watch the further proceedings this morning.
Thanks, mate.
Wilson, are you with us this morning? Yvonne was coming in on Teams, but is not here. I would prefer not to take an adjournment at this point. And I'm conscious that we are well ahead of the 10 a.m. block. But I am also aware that we do have some people from the 10 o'clock block with us. So I'm gonna, I'll start at the top of the 10 o'clock block and we'll see where we get to and we'll let people roll through. So do I have Stephen Bevan Smith or Rob Christie with us? I've got some other notes. Glenn Henson. Right, that moves to Scott. Are you happy to present early? Fantastic.
Yeah. Through all this.
For councillors, Scott's submission is online packet 2, page 290, or speakers pack number 19.
We're Glenn Henson.
No, Scott Williams.
Oh, right, sorry. 6.
Just give councillors a minute to
Yep.
scooch forward. Fantastic. When you're ready, Scott.
Thank you. Kia ora koutou. My name is Scott Williams. I was born and raised in Upper Hutt. I still call it home today. Growing up, some of my most treasured memories are weekends spent over the hill in the Wairapa. Whether it was multi-day tramps to the Rimataka Ranges and Tatarua Ranges, camping at Morrison's Bush, or fishing along the South Wairapa coast. Those experiences helped shape me and my love for the outdoors. I also have fond memories of time spent with my grandparents at Riversdale and Castle Point, places that still hold a special place in my heart. These early experiences gave me a lifelong appreciation for this region, its people, and its landscapes that connect us all. More recently, I've been fortunate enough to share these same experiences and places with my own family. One of our most treasured spots is the Stonewall Scenic Reserve, beautifully rugged strip of coastline nestled between the Waitutuma stream to the south and the Mata Apeta stream to the north. And it's this special place that brings us all together here today. As we discuss the future access, it's important we bring both our personal connections and our shared responsibilities to the table. Ensuring that what makes Stonewall and the Paper Road corridor special is protected and enhanced for generations to come. I want to acknowledge the concerns raised at the Māori Standing Committee meeting in 2023. Issues such as risk of fire, trespassing, and potential environmental damage, particularly to culturally significant sites, are very real and deserve serious consideration. However, in my view, simply locking the New Zealand public out of areas like Stonewall is not an acceptable solution. That kind of restriction should only ever be considered as an absolute last resort, and only after all reasonable options have been fully explored. In the case of this proposed bylaw, I do not believe that threshold has been met. We should be gathering here today, not just to raise concerns, but to bring forward constructive ideas and practical solutions. There are a number of proactive steps we can take to protect the area without resorting to full closure. These include, but are not limited to, fencing off culturally environmentally sensitive areas, laying metal on heavily eroded sections of road, launching planting initiatives and conservation education, possibly in collaboration with local schools and community groups, installing clear signage to make sure all visitors understand the expectations for behaviour and care while enjoying the area, and restricting four-wheel drive access, particularly in the wetter months when the risk of damage is at its highest. These kinds of initiatives would allow us to balance public access with environmental protection and cultural respect, a much more sustainable and inclusive approach. If this bylaw is passed and access along the paper road is shut off, we won't be solving the issues, we'll be merely shifting them. The same concerns we're discussing here will simply appear elsewhere, whether in nearby locations or further afield. We truly want to be responsible, kaitaki, then education and guidance for those who choose to enjoy the area is the only sustainable path forward. Closing access is, in my view, a narrow-minded and knee-jerk reaction, and it may address some localised problems in the short term, but it does little, if anything, to support the broader goals of conservation, connection, and stewardship across New Zealand. We owe it to the future generations to take a more thoughtful, inclusive, and effective approach. Thank you for the opportunity to express my views today, taking the time to listen.
Thank you, Scott. Any questions from councillors for Scott this morning, please? Again, oh, sorry.
Got, your restriction on four-wheel drives is solution. Would that be maybe a big restriction on stopping a four-wheel drive?
I mean, it's up for debate, really. There's options. I mean, you can completely stop motorised access, which would certainly help the erosion factors on the trails.
But just the walking and perhaps pushbacking that you see as the essential from your point of view.
Yeah, well, that would do a lot less damage.
He's got that as time. If we move to Maria. So if you just give us a moment, that is online packet number 2, page 334, or speakers pack 48. Are you all right by yourself, or would you like your dad to sit?
All right.
What, sorry, what's her name? Bria, is it?
Bree Williams.
Upside down the sheet.
Page, speakers pack 48, so we're losing from here.
Just find it.
Just give us 2 seconds.
What was the name again, sorry?
Bree Williams.
Bria.
In front of you, so upside down the sheet.
Number again, please, Melissa.
Not in order.
Speakers pack 48.
Someone on their name. Right.
Good to go.
Oh, man, okay, done. Gotcha. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bria Williams. I'm not going to be talking about why you shouldn't close it or the history of it because I'm not too sure about that. Instead, I'm going to tell you how much I love camping out Stonewall. The first time we were there, we went with 2 other vehicles, and for the first hour of us being here, we were looking for a spot to set up our campsite. Everywhere looked like so much fun. We ended up setting up where the forest started on the other side of the creek. We put our little yellow backpack tent up in a clearing in the Manuka, and we got out the barbecue, went for a little walk and found a little swimming pool. There was 5 of us kids there, and all we wanted to do was swim. Even though it was the middle of May, but that did not stop us. We went back and got changed and then came back down. Me and my friend Kenzie just jumped right in. That was one of the dumbest things we've ever done. We had a race to see who was the fastest, and by that point we had gone and it was warmer to stay in than get out. Eventually we got out and went back to our campsite, and then we started playing hide and seek in the trees. We were using the walkie-talkies and we were in teams. I think we played for like 30 minutes, then went back and had toasted sandwiches for dinner that we cooked on the barbecue. We sat around talking for a bit and then we went to bed. When you're laying in your tent, you can hear the sea crashing on the rocks. It's so relaxing. Then before I knew it, I was awake and we were cleaning up. We made sure there was no rubbish left around, then we packed up our tent and got back in our car. We drove out, parked at the lighthouse, walked up the lighthouse, then after that we were on our way home. We stopped at the ice cream shop in Naui, and then we got our ice cream and sat at the picnic table and we were just talking and watching the water. It was so much fun. I don't think I'll ever forget it. If the road was to close, there'd be no more of those trips. Yes, we could find a new spot, but I don't think anywhere will be able to compete with Stonewall.
You have left us time for questions. So do any of the councillors have questions for Bria this morning? Councillor Eames.
Thanks for that, Bria. How many times have you been camping out there with family and friends?
Probably like 4 or 5 now. Yeah.
And when you're there, are there other people camping, other groups?
We've seen them a few times, not all the time, but yeah.
Last questions for Bria this morning. Well, thank you very much for your submission and your time today.
Yeah.
You've done. Circle back, I want to just double check and make sure that we haven't missed any of the people from our earlier block. So I just want to make sure that Jacob, David, and Stevie hasn't joined us. Do I have Joe Howells with us yet? Felicity Pons. I'm aware that these people are in the later block. I just want to fill the time we have. So we got William or Teresa. Brendan Redfern. So I believe Ian Hutchins is with us. Is that correct? Ian Hutchins.
Just got you, me, just, yeah, sorry, I just got a text message.
Fine. What we will just what I will do is I have a thank you. I have a submission to be read out from John Priest of the Waimiha Camping Village. John says, firstly, my apologies for not submitting a person today. I have lived at Cape Palliser my whole life, and like many others, have a special connection to our remote place. My happy place is going for a drive, often midweek, and just taking in the beauty and quietness of our coast. Visitors drive to the coast to take in the remoteness of this place, to see the seals, the lighthouse, go surf casting or watch the surfers. I don't agree with bylaw. The public should not be denied access to this unformed public road and surrounding area, even for 3 years, as it will set a precedent for longer. Because of all this publicity and wrong information, I've had people phoning my business to ask, can we not drive around to the lighthouse anymore or see the seals? Or is the road closed now? So how many others out there are thinking the same thing and not even coming? This has an impact on not only my business, which employs lots of locals, but all the other businesses around the area, Piranoa, Lake Ferry, etc. We know there's a problem with some people whipping through the mud. No one is denying that. But let's fix this problem instead of creating more problems. That road is also a very important alternate road in an emergency. We have a great community, one I'm proud to be a part of. Don't just talk about problems, we do our best to fix them and get things done. And already one of our locals has organised many volunteer contractors ready to go to fix this road and get it fixed. Thank you. So that was John Priest, Waimiha Camping Village. So what we'll do is Ian Hutchins, are you in the room? Fantastic. Ian, I know that you weren't scheduled till after 10, but given that you are here, are you happy to present?
Absolutely.
Welcome. Come and join us at the table. So Ian's submission pack is email submission page 4443 or speakers pack page 28. Just for your information, because I know you've only just joined us, Ian, you have 5 minutes to present to members of this committee. It is suggested that you make a presentation during the first 3 or 4 to allow question time from councillors. We'll give you a wee wave at minute 4 so that you know that your time is coming to an end. And your allocated time includes both your presentation time and time for questions from councillors. And you are welcome to start when you're ready.
Okay, look, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. It's far too fine a day to be indoors, I've got to say. Questions anytime or afterwards. The club, Cross-Country Review Club's a well-based four-wheel drive club. We want to support the council in managing a legal road, and we don't support trespass on adjacent land, which is privately owned. We're poorly placed to assess the cultural impacts that there may be, but we have no wish to denigrate or damage the relevant land. It's important to distinguish between the legal road, which is effectively held in trust by council for the public, and the adjacent land that are primarily matter for the owners. Owners need to protect their own interests and not expect council to do so by imposing restrictions on the public. 2 issues I'll speak about briefly. Firstly, the process, and I only touch on a couple of points. It's clear there's been a few changes within council as this bylaw has been developed, but what's resulted is not very clearly expressed
We believe it's misleading in terms of the public information we put out there. It's doubtful legality and clearly not supported either within or outside your council area. It's actually irrelevant where submissions are from, because users of legal roads are the public. And your job in a consultation, and you'll know this from your legal advice, you have to consider all relevant matters and disregard entirely irrelevant matters. You can't consider irrelevant matters, and where people live is actually irrelevant when you're talking about the public. Before making a council bylaw, you're obliged under section 155 to look at various things. Firstly, you need to identify a perceived problem. You need to identify options for addressing that problem. You need to determine the pros and cons of each of the options. Pretty standard stuff. It's all in the Act, laid down pretty clearly. But there's no such published material from council showing that you followed such a process. You say you have by saying, note that council has met the requirement of section 155. But whoa, when you look back and look at your published information, it's just not there. There's nothing there that supports that statement. Consultation is not that difficult. There are rules and regulations that go with it. But the actual prohibition is unclear. The council map shows a bit 400 metres long. It's got a photograph with a map and some lines. And we understand what that says. But the legal road continues for kilometres and kilometres past that point. Is it the whole road you're talking about? Right through to the end? Right through the stone wall? We don't know. It's unclear. And it's not a dead end. The road is not a dead end. It goes on. You've heard before it's an emergency access route. But yet your documentation states it's a dead end road. Unfortunately, that does tend to mislead people a little bit. We don't understand what the haste is. I have seen some emails internal between officers which talk about getting this process over the line with the current council. They seem to be important that you must make that decision and make it quickly, get it done. A good outcome should occur with a good process. Irrespective of the election process coming up, elections are not a reason to rush. They're a good checkpoint in democracy. I spent some years within local government, and elections are fun. They're good news. They give the public a chance to say things. But look at the substance of what you propose. You look at the powers given to council under the Land Transport Act. Section 22 has got about 6 different clauses there. They use 2 words, prevent and restrict. And they use them differently in different clauses. The clause you're playing with about legal roads uses the word restrict. And that's not what you're doing. You're preventing indefinitely. You talk of a 3-year review, but at the end of the day, your legal position is you're closing the road full stop. And you'll say you'll get around to thinking about it in 3 years' time. Thank you. No guarantees on that. It may or may not happen, but you're closing it indefinitely. That's what you're doing. And that's preventing. It's not restricting. It looks like you're trying to control behaviour of a few road users. We agree with that, frankly. We think the road users should be controlled sensibly. We don't support irresponsible use of four-wheel drives. We know there are lots of actions that can be taken. You need to let us do that. Where to from here? You've got a few thousand submissions. The vast majority don't support the proposal. Pretty obvious. It'll go to court sooner or later down the track if you proceed with where you're going. Not a threat, just a statement. We suggest a useful next step would be to call a pause, have an external review of your process, confirm that you've actually got a good process in place. Many people have said you haven't. Experts can judge that better than I can. It'll take some time, a little bit of cost, but it's far better than a defended court hearing. They cost hundreds of thousands, as you well know. Only then should you revisit whether you want to proceed. And I ask you the question, is council going to recognise the right of passage over a road as one possessed by the public, not the local authority? You hold the title, exercise powers in relation to the road. You hold it in trust for the public. Or will your decisions favour private interests of adjacent landowners? Your ultimate decision will give us that answer. But that's the question. Are you here for the public or the private?
Ian, that is your 5 minutes, so no time for questions.
That's cool.
Thank you for your paper submission and your presentation today. Both will be taken into account as we move forward through the process into deliberations. So thank you for your time.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we'll take a 10-minute pause at this point and allow those who are booked for the 10 a.m. slot to arrive. So feel free to go out to the cafe and grab yourself a coffee or stretch your legs. We will start back at 10 a.m. promptly.
Stephen, hang on, no, just leave it with me. Hi, Stephen. We're just on a break at the moment. We'll be back at 10.
I'm not quite sure. I can
Back off, we'll just get the technology up and running. Right, so thank you, everyone. We are now officially into our 10 a.m. block. We had our first submitter with us online, Stephen Goodfellow, but before we kick off, we'll just do a couple of reminders, bearing in mind that people are coming and going. So the first is that my team, the councillors, are here and must approach hearings with an open mind, take into account all written and oral citizens. We are here only to listen to submitters and can ask questions of clarification, but we are unable to enter into debate, offer solutions, or indicate support one way or the other. All submitters today have 5 minutes to present to members, and we ask that you take approximately 4 minutes to do so. Stephen, I have got my back to you so that you can hear me, because if I turn away from the microphone, you won't be able to. So apologies for getting my back to you. Stephen's submission is online packet 1, page 204, speakers pack number 15. So when you're ready, Stephen, you may start, and Amy will give you a wave at 4 minutes.
Okay, can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. I did a written submission. It must have been about a month ago. I was a lot less informed about the situation than I am now, so my written submission isn't really very helpful. So I strongly oppose the council's proposal to block the vehicle access. My family's camped around there for generations. My grandfather came back from World War II, and he used to fish out of Naui for grouper and crayfish. So we know the area very well. I live in Wellington. So it appears that the council is trying to use emotions rather than the facts to push this agenda. There's section 316 of the Local Government Act 1976. All roads vest in the council for use and benefit of the public. The council is the custodian, not the owner. There's no power to arbitrarily block access. There's section 319 and schedule 10 of the same act require council to keep roads safe and passable. Minor rutting is routine maintenance and is not justification for closure. Council lists roading as a strategic asset. Under section 97 of the Local Government Act 2002, any reduction in service must go through the long-term plan consultation process. Closing or restricting access outside that framework is unlawful. Under the New Zealand Bill of Rights Act 1990, section 18, everyone has the freedom of movement. Restrictions must be necessary, proportionate and evidence-based. Appropriate fire bylaws are already in place. Environmental damage claims are highly exaggerated. Closure will not prevent natural erosion. Maintenance of the road is important for emergency access for residents in the event of a slip or road washout, especially around Whatarangi Bluff. The road is currently washed out near the sand dunes near White Rock, and it needs to be repaired ASAP. Cultural sites need to be signposted. Road access is necessary for families, elderly and those with disabilities to enjoy the foreshore and reserve land. Accessibility means access for all people, not just those able to walk long distances. Issues of trespassing are already covered by existing law. If you find people trespassing on your land, you can file a report with the police. So I had a longer speech organised, but they cut from 10 minutes down to 5. So I've just basically given you guys those bullet points. I think they're the most important parts. Basically, what you're trying to do is unlawful. So you basically need to go back to the drawing board and you need to listen to locals. It seems like pretty much everyone's against this. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Stephen. Any questions from councillors from Stephen's? No, thank you, Stephen, for your time. You're welcome to stay online and watch the proceedings. Your submission and your presentation today will be considered as part of deliberations moving forward.
Oh, okay, thanks. And one last thing, I'd like to thank Andy New Zealand Andy online. He's been spreading awareness about this thing. I really appreciate it. And Ian's submission just about 20 minutes ago was really good. I really am enjoying listening to what other people have to say about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
Sorry, Violet, I see that you are with us. Are you well enough to be with us this morning? Good. Please know that you can go if you need to. Violet is on our committee, but clearly is not feeling her best this morning. Kevin Smith, are you here this morning? Bob Christie. Joe Howells. Fantastic. Joe, come and join us. Councillors, Joe's submission is on line ticket 2, page 320, for speakers pack number 14.
Kia ora koutou. So I'm representing the Aorangi Restoration Trust, which is, years ago to support DOC to look after the Aorangi Forest Park. Broadly, our take on it is we totally support the landowner's right to protect their property. What's going on out there is not okay in terms of vehicles going all over the place and making quite a mess in a very fragile landscape. The only additional thing we'd like to put on the table is that the other end of the equation, the road public road at White Rock, the end of the road there, there's some really significant internationally recognised surf breaks, and the situation out there is very unclear. The signage is not helpful, and we have people coming from all over the world, young people who are aware of the surf break. I've met some of them out there myself personally, and they're very confused and want to know if they're allowed to camp, if they're allowed to go certain places. So that, as a corollary to this piece of work, needs to be sorted out in my view. Thank you very much for listening.
Joe, any questions for you? I know it'd be nice to just rush off. Councillor Maynard and then the Mayor.
Kia ora, Joe. And just quickly, I see that this is your submission came under Green Jersey and the Aorangi.
On my Aorangi Restoration Trust.
And so I just wanted to be clear. Were you still wanting to have it because were you still wanting to be able to have bike like push bike access?
I think that's between us and the landowners, as it is with all the landowners around the coast, and we have no desire to run bike tours anywhere that the landowners don't welcome us on their land. So we'll work that out with the landowners as we do with all the other landowners we work with.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Joe.
And Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thanks, Joe. So just a quick question. If you were speaking to an overseas person who wants to go to one of those world acclaimed surf breaks, how would you tell them to actually get there?
I told them to go and talk to Chris, who was up in the cottage, and tell them that I'd told them to go and talk to them. I know Chris, and I said, you must be a very good surfer to be out here on your own. And she looked at me intently and said, I'm one of the best. So she was one of the best in the world. Young woman in her early 30s, I would guess.
But my question hasn't been answered. How is she to get to the surf?
Well, it's very confusing. There's some very off-putting signage on the Ngāpatiki station gate, which is inaccurate.
Yeah.
There's no signage at all in respect to your being allowed to camp. I understand that the rules say you can camp there, but the signage says you can't. So the whole situation is quite confusing, and for someone that's travelled a long way to come out there she said to me, how do I get over there? Pointing to the surf breaking about 2 kilometres in the distance. I said, you go and talk to Chris. Well, yeah, for someone, she wouldn't have known that. I don't know what she would have done. Someone would have come along, I guess, but it seemed that we, as a community, we're letting ourselves down in terms of this big asset and the way that whole situation. You can access the surf breaks from the Cape Palliser end. It's a lot more arduous. The more direct route is from the White Rock end, and there are paper roads and council reserves at that end that aren't, in my view, very explicitly explained to anyone who wants to use them.
One last question from Councillor Old.
Yeah, no, thanks very much, Joe. Your reference was from the White Rock end and not from the Cape Palliser end. Is that correct for that particular set? That's the thing.
Right, thank you very much for your time this morning, Joe. Your discussion and your presentation will be considered during deliberation.
All right.
Thank you very much. Listening hard.
Yeah.
Right, Councillor Felicity's submission is online picket number 8, 3146 for speakers pack number 21. And I can't tell you that the councillors have read your submission in full because, oh no, it is there, it's on the other page. I was going to say, oh no, you're just going to present to us today. Thank you, when you're ready.
Okay, well, Cape Palliser is a very important place to myself and my family, and we've been camping out multiple generations. My father, he's been camping out there since he was a young child. I've been camping out there since I was a baby, and now me and my husband have just begun taking our young children out there. Me and my husband were engaged out there. My grandparents' ashes are scattered out there, and it's in mine and my husband's wills that we would wish to be scattered out there as well. Now, the land that I'm talking about is the dock land, so on the east side of the Waitatuma stream over the Stonewall Creek, and it's somewhere that we've been enjoying for a very long time. Now, because we go out there to camp, we do require a vehicle to access the land. Obviously, when you go out there to camp for a number of days, sometimes weeks, like we do, you need a lot.
Sorry to interrupt you, but can I just make sure that everyone is quite quiet because it makes it really hard to hear the presenter otherwise.
Thank you. Yes, so when you go camping out there, obviously you need a lot of equipment. Taking young children out there, they come with a lot of equipment, and a vehicle is required for safety purposes. Being out there in a very remote place, there's always the risk that someone gets injured or sick, or some dangerous weather event rolls in, and you need to be able to get out of there in a hurry. My parents often join us camping out there, and they require a vehicle as well to access the land. Now, access itself has changed a lot since even since I've been going out there. I've just printed off this graphic to show 3 areas where access can be an issue. So the first one over here, I've just got these images that we took on Monday. So this is the Stonewall Creek, and this is really just to say that it's not an access point. Since I've been going out there, I have come across people that have been stranded out there and needed to be airlifted off. So it's really just to show you can't get gear up in there. It's not really an access point. The other 2 sections on this graphic are areas in the track from the Ngāwatuki or White Rock side where you can no longer pass the land. So this first one here, and the pictures don't really do the problem justice, but this area of the formed road has completely eroded, so it's completely impassable by vehicle, and it's very unsafe on foot. And the same goes for this other image here. Can't really tell, but you can't get a vehicle through here, and it's definitely hard going walking through there as well. So it's a risk. And the bottom line there is that we rely heavily on the paper road to access the dock campsite. We've always been really respectful campers. The dock land used to be owned by Trino Coas, and my family would request permission from him each time we went to camp out there. We'd always take our rubbish away. We wouldn't light campfires. For the most part, we would just explore the area on foot. It's a beautiful location. My kids love it out there. For us, it's just about hearing the cicadas chirping all day long, hearing the ocean crashing onto the beach. For me, it's a place where I feel really, really close to my family, and it's my favourite place in the whole world, basically. That being said, I think that there are other ways that we can go about restricting the access so that the landowners don't experience the issues that they're having, that don't prevent people enjoying the land. I think rather than imposing a blanket ban on people and vehicles, other means could be looked at, such as fencing the land. I think if there was better signposting out there, you would see a great reduction in the damage on the land. And I know in the past bulldozers have gone out here and sort of paved the way so that it's more recognisable where the paper road is and people aren't veering off the land. I think if people are prevented from going out there, it won't just be campers like myself. There'll be people that want to enjoy the land on foot, or scuba divers that won't be as able to carry their wet gear back to their vehicles. There will be other people that suffer. It won't just be if vehicles were to be banned and pedestrians were still allowed, they would still face difficulties enjoying the land at the same potential that they have been able to. I also think that less able-bodied people or older people that have always gone out there no longer will be able to, because they're not able to walk out there the distances that's required. So in summary, it's a really important place for me, and I hope that you consider allowing families like myself who like to enjoy the land with my tamariki to continue to go out there and do so for many more generations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. I'm sorry, there isn't time for questions.
No, it might not be.
Bang on 5 minutes, and you spoke your last word, the buzzer went. Sorry, unfortunately, no questions.
No worries.
Just for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bill Briley.
No, he's moved to
No, he's moved later. Okay. And I've read John Priest. Teresa Badella. Brendan Redford. Thank you, Brendan, if you'd like to join us. Brendan is submission number 3092, online packet 8, page 3148, or speakers pack number 26.
Mayor and councillors, members of the public. I'm a resident of the South Wairarapa. I have been living here for a long time. Also operate a honey company here. Firstly, I'd like to sympathise with the landowner in one respect. No one wants to see their land destroyed. But when it comes to, I think
I really don't want to interrupt you, but just get quiet in the back, please.
When it comes to the proposed bylaw that the council is proposing to invoke, I think it is somewhat a knee-jerk reaction. I've highlighted the various issues that I see with the proposed bylaw in my submissions. I submit on behalf of my honey company that uses the White Rock Road basically every day from now till end of autumn. And I also submit personally because basically the Wairarapa coastline is my playground, frequently fishing and diving from Lake Ferry all the way up to White Rock. The proposal for blocking vehicle access to me has serious implications in terms of what's already been mentioned about walking in with significant equipment, diving equipment, weight belts, and then returning with your cash and wet gear. It essentially prohibits me from accessing the coastline through the Palliser end. Importantly, I urge the council to consider the interest that this has had and generated, and the proposed alternative route to access that coastline via White Rock Road is, to me, not a sensible one. The road out to Palliser is a double lane sealed road. The one out to Palliser is 3 k's of essentially one way metal, poorly maintained road. I urge anyone thinking that they should be encouraging surfers to go out there to drive it, particularly early in the morning. There's significant areas of sunstrike around the Manahau area where the road is very narrow. As I said, it's unsealed. And this road is shared by the farmers, Mr. Lutchins and his tractor and his bale loader, camp trucks, and on the sealed portion, logging trucks. And it's from Tuchamiri onwards, it's not divided by the road markings, your centre lane road markings. So it's very narrow, and I think it's going to lead to increased injury, in particular in terms of risk to me and my staff. I've had a number of instances on that road. I've had one head on, I've been run off the road into the ditch, and I've rescued a number of people, a lot of surfers that have not got the experience of driving on metal roads and have basically skidded off into the ditch. So I urge the council to maybe drive that road and go, hey, look, this really is maybe, as the last lady that spoke said, there might be an alternative step that we can take to mitigate the concerns that the landowner has, as well as ensuring that access to the coast is maintained in the most efficient manner. The other thing that happens on the metal road frequently is, particularly over the summer months, you get more people using it for recreational purposes, is you get the rutting undulations, and it will require the council to spend more money on maintaining and regrading that 30-kilometre stretch of road. I don't think it should be the encumbrance of the landowner. To answer the mayor's question, Ngāpatiki, I was even out there in the gale having my legs sandblasted and ring-barked on the weekend trying to fish, and went up to the gate at Ngāpatiki. You have to buy a key to get to access to Ngāpatiki. And the signage, I do think if Ngāpatiki end is a paper road, the signage basically says that from here on in it's private property. And hey, fair enough. If the landowner is paying for that road and the council isn't contributing to its upkeep, then maybe a similar thing needs to be considered at the Palliser end. So that's basically all I had to say. Any questions?
That is your 5 minutes. We've got the timing, so unfortunately, Brenda, no time for questions, but you did fill your time.
Thank you very much.
As with everyone else, you're welcome to stay. And both your written and verbal submission will be considered along with everybody else's through deliberations. Thank you very much. It's already spoken.
What? Okay.
Rion. Now, councillors, they can't give you Rion's number right at the minute, but if he's
Okay, yes.
Rion, if you could introduce yourself for the councillors, that would be fantastic. You, like everyone else, you have 5 minutes to speak total, and Amy will give you a wave at 4. So could you just confirm your surname for us?
Good.
When you're ready.
I am Ngāti Hiniwaka, also one of the ones that write customary fishing permits for our coastline, both Ngāti Hiniwaka and Te Mapu here. My kōrero is a little bit different to how we've been seeing submissions this morning.
I believe that, that you guys have an obligation to our people, to the treaty. And that, that I listened to the submissions this morning and all I hear is, entitled people to whenua that doesn't even belong to them. That paper road doesn't exist just because we let it exist. It exists because of Pākehā entitlement to start with. And they put that there because they want to access where they want to go. But we can't take shortcuts through your fellows' properties to get to somewhere that we want to go to quickly. We got to go around. It makes me laugh that as soon as my whānau want to do something to look after our whenua, that we're a minority of people that so many people are against it. Half the time I think it's because we're just Māori and people don't like that. And people are jumping up and down now because we want to close that off. But yet, throughout the coastline of the Wairarapa, Pākehā farmers have done this. Nobody says a word. And this happens all up the coastline now, right now. But here we are, just a little whānau, a little hapu, in this predicament that we're in today, because of what I feel is entitled behaviours of white people. And I'm not trying to sound racist, it's just how I believe that it is. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, Rion. Now, we'll get some questions from councillors. Can I ask you a question to start with?
Yes.
Rion, do you think that, you know, we've heard from others today about alternate solutions, better fencing, better signage, better education, etc. Do you think, can you see a way at the moment where those things could help protect your land and allow community access to other parts of the shoreline?
No, we've got a fence up around there, the fence that's there now.
Okay. Any other questions for Rion, Councillor Elams?
Morena, Rion. How many, you're part of Ngāti Hiniwaka, how large is Ngāti Hiniwaka? How many in hapu, and how many beneficiaries of the trust?
I'm on the trust, but I can't answer your question. How many are registered at the moment as being on our register?
And I was just wondering, and my follow-on question was, has there been hui within Ngāti Hiniwaka on this? I know Ngāti Hiniwaka come to Maori Standing Committee and discussed this issue. This Maori Standing Committee part of council in the past. Has there been hui within Ngāti Hiniwaka to discuss the issue collectively as a group?
Yeah, we do it all the time.
And the position is that Ngāti Hiniwaka wants, or sorry, can you tell me what Ngāti Hiniwaka's position is? Rather than me tell you.
I thought you already knew what our position is. We want it closed off. We want our whenua to heal. They can't do that if you keep going across it all the time.
Thanks, Rion.
It's time. Thank you, Rion.
Thanks, Rion. Brilliant talk.
Thank you, everyone. I am going to take the opportunity just to continue reminding for our benefit and benefit of everyone who continues to come into the room that kind of the rules and we as councillors and committee members are working under today, and that is that we will approach these hearings with an open mind, and that we are here to take into account all written and oral submissions when it comes to deliberations. That we are here to listen to submitters and can ask questions to clarify or get submitters to elaborate on particular points in their submission. However, we cannot take the opportunity to comment on submissions, engage in debate with the submitters, offer solutions, or indicate our support, whether it be verbally or physically, to any submission. So that's the ethos that we're working with today. Unfortunately, as was the case in the earlier block, we've had a number of our confirmed submitters not arrive today. So that is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we don't get to hear from them, and it is unfortunate that it muddles up the timings for everyone quite considerably. I'm just going to run through those who haven't spoken and just make sure that they haven't come late and aren't wishing to speak. So I'm just double checking that we don't have Bevan Smith, Robin Christie, or Teresa Bardella with us. Our next block is not set to start until 11:15. So I just want to check, do I have anyone with us who was in the 11:15 block who wishes to speak early? No. That being the case, unfortunately, we will have to adjourn and come back for 11:15.
I didn't get across what I wanted to say in that whole 5 minutes.
No, I'm sorry. We are very clear that everyone gets 5 minutes, and whilst it's unfortunate that we haven't had everyone arrive, and it seems like now we have spare time that we can just fill, the rules are very clear that everybody gets their 5 minutes. Yep.
Stick to the rules in.
Yeah. Thank you. So
I did a submission online like everyone else, and I got an automated message back saying that they had received it. And I ticked that little box saying, I can get up and talk, you know. But I never got an email back saying that, yeah, you know, you can get up and talk and this is your time slot. I got none of them. And then when I came up here, the person at the door couldn't even find my name.
but they're actually not people who have been confirmed to speak today, which is why they couldn't.
Yes, I ticked the box saying, can I speak?
What's your name, sir?
Darcy Tillion.
Darcy, I am quite happy for you to have 5 minutes like everybody else, given that we do have time. So if you'd like to speak,
yes,
I'm happy for you to speak now before we go to an adjournment.
Thank you.
Councillors, I won't be able to give you Darcy's PAC number. I don't have that in front of me at the moment. But we have the power to move that information together. So that's not a disservice to Darcy this morning. Thank you, Darcy. As with everybody else, you have 5 minutes to speak, and Amy will give you a wave at 4 to let you know that your time is coming to an end when you're ready.
Kia ora. One of the shareholders around by the stone wall. All the people before the stone wall are my whanaunga. Okay, to answer one of the councillor's questions, there is a lot of Ngāti Hiniwaka, but they are very humble people, so you won't see them all here. There's only a few of us that actually talk on behalf of Hiniwaka. Now, when it comes to past that gate, it's private land. And yes, I know that there's a road going through it that's been made up by councillors years back that makes it a public road that goes into the sea. And I know it's going to be an argument if we try and say, stay off that road, it's private property. But we can
if this doesn't go our way, go to the environmental court. We have that option. We also have the option to go to the tribunal. But I want you, the council, to understand this. That road goes into the sea. Now, once the vehicles go to that sea part, they have to cross private land to get back on the road. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that's private property. No one's talking about it. They're talking about how pretty it is out there and how they've got obligations to go out there and camp on our land. We have, high water mark. That's our land, right up to the high water mark. All our land. So when it goes into the sea, it's private property. So you can talk all as much as you want. 83% of people can talk against that gate being closed. But once it goes into the sea, it's private property to get back on the paper road. Now, that'll go into the environmental court. We can get bloody lawyers to say you cannot go on private property without consent from the owners. That's all I have to say, because that's really where it ends. It's private property after it goes into the sea. Put that on your pieces of paper and to the lawyers that are around, if they are. If they're not, we'll get the lawyers in the environmental court saying you're going on to private property once it goes into the sea. That's all I have to say. This done. Kaboom. You can answer questions if you want, but once it goes into the sea, it's private property. Where does people not see that?
Thank you, Darcy.
The law is the law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Darcy. Thank you. Councillors, do we have any questions for Darcy this morning? Like Elon's.
So deeply, go to this map, but Darcy, councillors were shared this, and I think like shared the same map earlier. The pink line here indicates where the paper road is. Is it at this point here that it's going into the sea?
Yeah, it's eroding into the
sea.
Oh, that's the other thing too, just so everyone understands. We've been there for over 1,000 years. Ngāti Hiniwaka has been there for over 1,000 years. The road that you're talking about erodes into the sea. Okay, there might be a little walking track there, but it won't be there for long. Archaeologists go around there and they have found evidence over 1,000 years of occupation. Our ancestors. I just want you to know that. So everything else is recent. What Rion said is true. We have got a gate up there. Everything behind that gate is private property. You made the paper road. We didn't. You took it over. And the other thing that you understand is this, is around the other parts of the coastline, our bloody land is locked by Pākehās. It's locked. No one's helping us there. But hell, we want this. That's what you are saying. That's what everyone, 83% are saying. We want to be on your land. But half our other bloody land is locked. Where's the righteousness in that? It's all on the Pākehā side. Not on our side. We've lost before we even got in here. All I understand is this, that's eroding into the sea. After that, you have to go on to the rest of the paper road, which is private property. That part there should tell you that by law, you have to ask the landowners.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That is time. Right, Darcy, your submission, did you submit that on paper form or online, or did you email online? Thank you. Darcy, Amy's just going to come and check some details with you, but we are going to go to an adjournment. So we will be back in 30 minutes for 11:15. Thank you, everyone.
Somebody turn off the live stream, please, or just hit the camera and the mic.
Yes. The one I think is actually paid the roads here, is it? That's the difference.
That is, yeah. But I'll be.